Let's get right into this. Number 10. The psychic arms race of the Cold War. The psychic arms race of the Cold War happened. Both sides paid for mind war toys, remote viewers mapping secret bases, telekinesis tests on metal spoons, soldiers trained to project intent through walls like budget Jedi. CIA memos funded Stargate. Soviet labs ran biofield drills in snowbound bunkers. Most successes were noise, but fear printed money. Paranoia kept the lights on longer than proof ever did. Funny thing, belief changed behavior. Guards doubled shifts, generals altered routes, and targets moved because rumors moved first. That's the secret bite. Ideas that can't bend spoons can still bend logistics. Meanwhile, you and I practice the modern version daily, scrolling leaks, half-truths, and spicy rumors until our mood shifts. Plans change, and we swear nothing influenced us. The lab learned a quiet lesson. Brains don't need magic to be hacked. They just need plausible stories, tight timing, and a budget line called maybe. This is what silent conflict looks like. Measurable, deniable, and weirdly routine. Number 9. The information wars waged with subliminal media. The information wars waged with subliminal media were real. Flash frames in film, masked tones in radio, and suggestive edits in kids' TV threaded persuasion beneath awareness. Governments called it perception management. Ad agencies called it Tuesday. You never saw the word buy, but you felt thirsty. You never heard the tone, but you felt weirdly safe. Today, the tactic has a push notification. Micro-targeting stacks your fears like Jenga and sells them back as personality. Timelines drip-feed outrage at a medically precise dose, enough to addict, not enough to revolt. You think you chose. The funnel thanks you for playing. Even free speech became a billboard auction. The irony, the more we see, the less we notice. Saturation is the new censorship. Noise smothers like a velvet pillow. Influence stopped hiding because hiding isn't required when attention itself is rented by the millisecond. Number 8. The corporate bio-espionage era of the 1980s. The corporate bio-espionage era of the 1980s existed. Biotech patents turned enzymes into gold and lab fridges into vaults. Executives smuggled yeast strains in sock-lined coolers. Interns copied plasmid maps after hours. Rival labs lost key cultures the week before filings. Insurance underwrote risk while lawyers harvested DNA like signatures. Whole bloodlines became intellectual property, with a barcode and a clause called consent broadly construed. The first ransomware wasn't code, it was proprietary cells. Boards didn't ask how, only whether the curve pointed up. And when contamination ruined a quarter, the press release called it novel discovery. Meanwhile, our everyday life quietly repriced biology. Seeds with shrink-wrap licenses, meds with paywalled molecules, workplaces trading saliva kits for wellness. Espionage didn't end, it domesticated. We learned to badge into our own bodies and call it convenience. Number 7. The frequency manipulation operations of military labs. The frequency manipulation operations of military labs happened. Pre-5G, pre-Wi-Fi researchers pulsed microwaves to test disorientation, panic, and phantom voice effects. Papers whispered about thermoelastic expansion, human tissue ringing like a bell. Patents sketched non-lethal beams for crowds, invisible hands that nudge balance and mood. Official language softened edges, compliance, compliance, compliance. Then those same bands filled with comfort tech, headsets, routers, sleep trackers, each device a friendly lighthouse in our skull's ocean. We trusted the glow because it solved loneliness faster than it raised suspicion. The twist isn't mind control, it's mind choreography. If you can't dictate thoughts, you can pace them, nudge tempo, scatter focus, amplify itch. Schedule the brain, schedule the citizen. And yes, we opted in. Terms accepted, cookies baked, signals humming beside the pillow while we dream on rented bandwidth. Number 6. The AI cyberwars already happening undetected. The AI cyberwars already happening undetected are boring on purpose. No neon code rain, just silent edits. Routes re-ranked, logs rewritten, audits passing like ghosts. Models probe each other's defenses, learn, patch, and roll forward before humans finish coffee. Compromise becomes choreography. Your system recovers. Theirs stabilizes. Both smarter, neither clean. Ownership blurs when weights fine-tune on stolen exhaust. Nations field models that never need medals, only power and cooling. The scoreboard isn't bodies, it's baselines. You notice as latency, as a map that feels off, as a price that twitches at 3:14 a.m. somewhere. Two clusters negotiated a truce we'll call uptime. Somewhere else, a synthetic fingerprint holds the door for a friend. When war writes itself, victory is just the last edit that sticks. Number 5. The silent bioweapon outbreaks covered up. The silent bioweapon outbreaks covered up were often renamed. Atypical pneumonia, undetermined enteric event, multi-species respiratory syndrome that politely exits the news. Sequencing hints at engineered seams. Then databases time out. Lab notes migrate behind NDAs. Whistleblowers discover hobbies. The pattern isn't apocalypse, it's plausible deniability. Cause gets fogged. Effect becomes policy. Bodies become baselines. Agriculture takes the first punch. Herds culled, yields trimmed, markets spooked. Humans follow with mild but memorable. A flu that behaves like a memo. We learned a trick from nature. Drift the story while the strain drifts too. By the time naming rights arrive, the vector already caught a flight. Public health plays chess with half a board, and the press conferences arrive pre-sanitized. Silence doesn't kill curiosity. It starves it until rumor looks nutritious. Number 4. The shadow projects launched from Antarctica. The shadow projects launched from Antarctica are whispered like campfire code, restricted corridors on the flight maps, geometric voids under ice that ground-penetrating radar refuses to discuss, cargo manifests that read like redactions, arriving at stations nobody funds on paper. The rumor says deep ice shafts became rails, silent slings to toss payloads toward orbit without witnesses or noise complaints. Aurora curtains hide the flash, katabatic winds erase the footprints. Perfect lab, perfect alibi. Meanwhile, treaties smile for the camera while side letters do the choreography. Tourists snap penguins and miss the fiber humming beneath the snow. If a launch happens in a desert of oxygen and nobody hears it, did it occur? Check the sky for gaps at 3 a.m. The stars blink when logistics lie. Number 3. Satellite hacking that redirected missiles. Satellite hacking that redirected missiles happened in the margins. Official lines say guidance anomaly. Engineers decode. Uplink spoof. Timing drift. Checksum coerced to believe a new truth. Orbit is a rumor mill with math credentials. One silent rewrite and hardware trained for certainty second guesses its own certainty. Some say it prevented catastrophe. Others say it aimed one. The logbooks don't argue, they vanish. Space is crowded with quiet fingerprints, despun antennas, faint burns, orphan telemetry. The lesson isn't that missiles are dumb, it's that trust is. We granted software divine right, then prayed checksum. When AIM is a cloud service, sovereignty becomes a password hygiene problem with existential side effects. Number 2. Covert weather modification battles. Covert weather modification battles never submitted to the forecast. Project Popeye stretched monsoons. Later programs tuned cloud nuclei like mixing boards. Brighten here, starve there, deny a harvest without firing a shot. Insurance calls it act of God, but the claim adjusts to geopolitics with suspicious agility. Satellites watch storm tracks kink around borders like polite burglars. Meanwhile, city councils cede sunshine for parades. Everyone swears they only adjust a little, as if climate were a thermostat with no neighbors. The battlefield is moist and deniable. If the sky cries on command, democracy should bring towels. Instead, we bring umbrellas and conspiracy podcasts. Number 1. The unrecorded war in deep space between satellites. The unrecorded war in deep space between satellites makes no sound and lots of debris. Officially collisions, unofficially tests, dazzling lasers, kinetic kisses, proximity hugs that leave dents instead of declarations. Treaties dress the violence in passive voice. A bird goes dark, a constellation coughs. We blame physics and schedule more launches. Space became the office hallway where rivals bump shoulders with HR on mute. Down here, a dropped call is annoying. Up there, it's an amputated limb for entire economies. We want coverage everywhere, but peace nowhere. Funny planet, we turn the heavens into a zero-G parking lot and act surprised when the fenders remember. This is what silent conflict looks like, measurable, deniable, and weirdly routine.